My name's Ben. I'm an aspiring documentary filmmaker living in Nottingham, who's always on the lookout for a good idea. I spend weeks on the internet searching for a story, and finally I think I've cracked it. I read about a man who in 1991 had a revelation that he's the Son of God. He convinced a small number of people to follow him to an isolated area on the top of a Siberian mountain. Since then, he's established a community of around 5,000 followers spread across 65 villages, made up of people from around the world. Coming from a Roman Catholic education myself, I find this fascinating. His name is the Vissarion, and his religion is called the Church of the Last Testament. I make contact with a follower who lives in Moscow called Bogdan, and I'm told about a festival held in August that celebrates the Vissarion's revelation. So I decide to travel to Russia, armed only with my camera and an open mind, to see for myself. This is the story of my journey to Siberia, to find this mysterious leader, and find out why so many people are converting to his faith. Today is Friday the 4th, the day of my trip. My plane leaves at 1:30 and I'm hoping to meet Bogdan. He should be waiting for me at the airport in Moscow. My main concerns at the moment are whether I've got everything that I need, but excited. As I embark on my journey, the enormity of my trip begins to sink in. I realise that I've put my trust in people I've never even met before, followers of an obscure religious cult, people I've only communicated with via email. What would they be like? Would they be there to meet me? I leave on a 4-hour flight travelling 2,500 kilometres across Europe to Moscow. When I'm eventually let through customs, I'm relieved to see Bogdan here waiting for me.
Welcome to Russia.
Thank you.
Now we are going to my house.
Bogdan lives in a high-rise building with his mother and sister.
A little white is my mom.
High-rise living is typical for most of the population of Moscow.
Ninth floor.
Здравствуйте.
Здравствуйте.
Oh, he speaks Russian.
Проходите, пожалуйста.
Спасибо. Здравствуйте.
The flat is small, but jammed full of interesting objects. Bogdan explains how he was introduced to the Church of the Last Testament by his father.
Our father was very interested in that religion. He read us these books. He tried to do as well as Vissarion said. And we sometimes began to do it too.
Tragically, Bogdan's father died when he was 16, which left him confused.
I didn't know how to behave in many different situations in life, and I couldn't find an answer in traditional religion. I couldn't find an answer in atheism, and I remembered that we have books, and then I began reading, and I began finding answers for all of my questions. It was great for me.
Bogdan regards his faith as personal choice, and not something he tries to convince others to take up.
Many of my friends I talked and somebody laughed. I didn't talk to them again because I think it should be 1-2 times, not more.
Bogdan shows me his bedroom, and it's not what I expect.
It's something between workshop and room.
It's his father's old workshop with a small bed in the corner.
2 flowers.
He shows me some of his artwork.
And I tried to paint her.
All of his art is influenced by his religion, and so are his songs.
Когда асфальтовая каша хрустит под ногами полуденным солнцем.
This song is called The Day of Warm, the day when love comes, which is about the day when his whole family will be back together again.
About our life, that in our usual life we sleep, get up, go for work, yes, and sometimes don't see other people. But in one day, the day of warm, love is coming. When it will be, only God knows.
Bogdan takes me to the tourist sites of Moscow whilst explaining the origins of the Church of the Last Testament.
People's attitude to communism became to change long before the Soviet Union fell, yes?
It was a terrible time for people in Moscow around the collapse of the Soviet Union. People protested in the streets, barricading army vehicles in a desperate attempt to stop the communist regime from regaining power. They wanted change. At the same time, the Vissarion began his Church of the Last Testament. Under communism, religion was strictly prohibited, but this inspired a growing underground interest in theology. So when communism fell, many people joined religious groups experimenting with different faiths.
And they became to understand that they should change something, but after fail, everybody felt independence.
It was at this time in 1991 when the Vissarion spoke publicly for the first time, and since then his following has grown stronger every year. Back at Bogdan's, after supper we relax by playing the guitar together, badly, and amuse ourselves with tongue twisters from each other's language.
This is Salasushka. She sells.
It's nice as we have a real laugh together.
On
Even Bogdan's little sister Sasha joins in.
seashore.
I have a great time and I'm sorry to leave, but I have to get to the station for the night train. This is the most testing part of my journey so far, the 2,000-mile train journey to Siberia. We make our way through crowds of people to my carriage, which for some reason happens to be the only carriage with all the lights turned off.
Well, Bogdan, thank you very much
Not at all.
for everything.
Be
that you've
careful,
done.
keep yourself.
For the first time since arriving, I'm alone, unable to speak a word of Russian.
Don't worry.
Bogdan tries to reassure me, but it doesn't exactly fill me with confidence. As I move off into the darkness, I wonder what's going to happen to me next. It takes 4 nights and 3 days, sharing a compartment with 3 complete strangers. I'm sharing the cabin with 2 Russian men and a Russian woman, none of whom speak any English. I quickly realise that the generosity that I've experienced since my arrival is a phenomenon that runs across the whole of Russia. Everyone puts their food and drink on the table for the whole cabin to share. None of my travelling companions have heard of the Vissarion and his Church of the Last Testament. At one of the regular stop-off points, I get into conversation with another passenger about the community. Elsa is a student who's travelling back to her home in Minusинsk, the town where the Vissarion is originally from. Although they share the same hometown, she doesn't share his beliefs.
I don't agree with the opinion that they should sell their homes, their houses, their all their things, and give money to Vissarion.
There's another group who are travelling to the annual festival on the 18th, and they seem a little unusual. This is Yura, who tells me he's a marathon runner from St. Petersburg.
Виссарион приезжал в Петербург. Последний раз 2 раза приезжал. Вот. Сначала в красном хитоне, потом в синем. Как художник он
There's
рисует.
something strange about him. He tries to sell me a bag of raw potatoes. I can't imagine how he expects me to cook them. Surprisingly, the time seems to pass quickly. Perhaps it's the ever-changing scenery, or the fact that I'm anxious about my arrival.